Good afternoon and happy Good Friday. I've always wondered about why Good Friday was called good. It was horrible for Jesus and all of his disciples and followers. But if we look at it, what it means for us today, his crucifixion allows us to get into heaven, and there's nothing better than that. So Good Friday, even though it doesn't seem like it should be called Good Friday, is an excellent way to describe this day. Let's review our resurrection eggs. The very first one that we opened last Sunday was the donkey, where Jesus rode into Jerusalem on the donkey for Palm Sunday. And then we have the coins. The coins represent the money that Judas was paid to betray Jesus and to send the soldiers Jesus' way. Then we have the goblet, which represents the Last Supper, and Jesus showing the disciples that he was going to have to shed his blood for them and for everyone else. And then we have the hands, the praying hands, that show us that Jesus was praying in the Garden of Gethsemane, spending his last few hours here on earth in conversation with his Father. And he even had doubts at that time. He asked his Father, if there's any way that this can be done without me having to be crucified, can we do it? And Jesus, of course, we know, answered no, that this was the only way. And so he said, okay, I'll do it, even though he had the opportunity to back out at any minute. Then we get into Jesus' torture. Here is a leather whip that represents the scourging that took place on Jesus. And then, of course, the crown of thorns, where people were misinformed and thought that Jesus wanted to be an earthly king. And he did not. He was going to be king of heaven and of earth. So they gave him the crown of thorns to make fun of him. And then we have the three nails fashioned into a cross that represent the three nails that went into Jesus' hands and feet during his crucifixion. And then after Jesus was, as he hung on the cross, dying with nothing left, nothing was left. He had nothing left on earth. And they took his clothing, and the soldiers rolled dice for them to see who could get the only thing of material possessions that Jesus had. And then we have the spear. The spear represents how Jesus' side was pierced after his crucifixion. Most criminals on the cross, their legs were broken, but Jesus had already died, and so they just wanted to be extra sure, so they pierced his side. And that's the injury that you see when you look on the crucifix. And then we have the burial linen. The linen that was wrapped, Jesus was wrapped in as he was placed in the borrowed grave from a rich follower, Joseph of Arimathea. And they anointed his body, and they wrapped it up in this in linen cloth. And then, today, we're only going to open one egg, this hot pink egg. And inside of it is a stone. This stone represents the stone that was rolled across Jesus' tomb the night that he died, to keep out grave robbers or to keep out wild animals. And with the sealing of the tomb with this stone, you could imagine how sad his disciples must have felt. They thought he was going to be around forever. They thought he was going to be there to lead them and show them what to do, and now he was gone. And the minute that stone rolled over, they thought it was over. They did not understand what was going to happen. But in the next 3 days, they will, because Friday, the stone was rolled over the tomb, but Sunday's coming. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.